Good morning. Yesterday we read in the last class the chapter number 3, Discovering Tut, the saga continues. And we read that King Tut, you can say, he died 3300 years ago, and his death was still, you can say, has become a mixed mystery. And so many people, so many archaeologists, so many scientists, forensic scientists, they are trying their best to understand, to know the, you can say, cause behind his death, why he actually, you can say, died at such a young age, because he was a teenager at that time when he, you can say, got his death. So, and we also read yesterday that because he was actually a very important personality, because he was last heir from his dynasty. So there were so many questions which were related to his life and death, and these questions are to be discussed, they are to be answered. And that is why his CT scan was being done in 2005. And maybe in 1922, when his body was actually, you can say, got for the first time, it was discovered by the archaeologist, British archaeologist, whose name was Howard Carter. In 1922, he could not get the body out of the coffin, and somehow he managed to get the body out of the coffin when he, you can say, used a chisel. With the use of a chisel, he chiseled away all the resins which were not getting melted, which were not actually getting budged. So he had to make use of a chisel, and with the help of a chisel he got the body out of the coffin. And then he again reassembled all the remains on a sand, on a layer of sand. Now from page number 25, middle of the page, I am going to start reading this chapter again. Archaeology has changed substantially in the intervening decades, focusing less on treasure and more on the fascinating details of life and intriguing mysteries of death. Now this is very important, that archaeology was going to change. Archaeology means the science related with history, with past events, with past glories, with monuments. So archaeology was changing. Why? Because his body was first discovered in 1922, and now it was 2005. Maybe 85 years later, the science has developed. And because of the development of technology and science, there has been a change in archaeology also. And substantially here means really there was a great change in archaeology as a science in the intervening decades. Intervening means in the middle, you can say, middle time, in the middle decades, because there were around 8 decades which had gone by. Decades means a group of 10 years is generally called as decade. So 8 decades, 80 years had gone by, focusing less on treasure and more on fascinating tales of life. Now what, how archaeology has changed? Because now the archaeologists, they are not concerned, they are not interested more on treasure, they are less interested on treasure. Treasure means on the wealth that they had got with mummies, but they are more interested in fascinating details of life. Now they were more interested in knowing something about the life and death of these mummies. They were not interested in, or maybe they are less interested on treasure, on the wealth, on the gilded material and intriguing mysteries of death. And they wanted to know they wanted to solve the mysteries, they wanted to solve the secrets related to the death or life of these people. It also, and intriguing here means confusing, complex mysteries. It also uses more sophisticated tools, including medical technology. Now, the archaeologists or archaeology started using sophisticated tools because of the scientific development, because of the technical development. The people now in 2005, they have got better technique, they have got better, you can say, instruments and machines with which they could know a lot of things including medical technology also. Medical technology also has developed a lot. In 1968, more than 40 years after Carter's discovery, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy and revealed a startling fact. And not only his body was, you can say, taken out in 2005, but 40 years ago also, means after 1922, after 40 years of the, you can say, this when this body was being discovered in 1922, after 40 years of that, an anatomy professor x-rayed the mummy, means x-ray was being done by an anatomy professor. एक anatomy professor था, he also x-rayed the body in 1968. This date is again very important. In 1968 his body was taken out again and his x-ray was taken, and it revealed mean it actually showed, it opened up a startling fact. Startling means very, you can say, surprising, very shocking fact was revealed. And what was that fact? Beneath the resin that cakes his chest, his breastbone and his ribs are missing. Now this is very shocking. That's his breastbones and his ribs, they were missing when his body was x-rayed in 1968. They got a news, they got a fact, and it was a startling fact that the breastbone of this pharaoh, of this small boyish king, were missing, and his ribs were also missing. Next paragraph. Today, diagnostic imaging can be done with computed tomography. Now, this is the word CT scan. We generally call it CT, but the full form is computed tomography. So today, diagnostic imaging means when we actually try to take some images, x-rays or so many things, now we don't have to go through an x-ray one by one, because we have got that technique to get so many x-rays at a single stroke, and that technique is generally called as computed tomography. CT scan can be done now, by which hundreds of x-rays in cross section are put together like slices of bread to create a three-dimensional virtual body. Means now we have got that technique with which we could take so many different x-rays at a single stroke, and all these x-rays could be seen on the computer screen at a one stroke. And these would be three-dimensional 3D images. Virtual body could be created on the screen, on the computer screen. What more would a CT scan reveal of tooth than the x-ray? Means now this is the question, that why CT scan was being taken and what was not given by x-ray, because his x-ray was done in 1968. So why his more x-rays like CT scan, why it was being taken? And could it answer two of the biggest questions still lingering about him? Lingering means they are still postponed, they are still continued with the passage of time. अभी भी दो questions का answer नहीं मिला है. For last 80 years, his body was being taken out of the tomb for x-rays and so many other things, but still the people, they did not know about these two questions. And the questions were these two questions. Number one, how did he die? Number two, how old was he at the time of his death? Now, these two questions are still there to be answered, and nobody was able to understand it without the help of archaeology, without the help of CT scan or the different kind of techniques. The people, they could not know the answers of these two questions. And the question would come that why his CT scan was being taken after 80 years? Because two questions are to be answered. How did he die? Means what was the reason? What was the reason or the cause of his death? And how old was he at the time of his death? What was his age at that time? King Tut's demise. Demise here means death. King Tut's death was a big event, even by royal standards. He was the last of his family line. Means when he got his death, when he died 3300 years ago, at that time also he was very important as a human being, as a pharaoh, as a king, as an Egyptian king. He was a very important personality. Why? Because he was the last of his family's line. Because after that his dynasty, you can say, got finished. It has died. And his funeral was the death rattle of a dynasty. And because of his funeral, because of his death, it was the death of the dynasty. but the particulars of his passing away and its aftermath are unclear. What is the meaning? But the particulars of his passing away means, but nothing we have got, nothing, no facts have been discovered yet. Why? What were the reasons or the causes of his death, and what was his age at that time, and what were the circumstances when he actually got died? So when he passed away, when he, you can say, died, nothing is clear about that situation, and aftermath are unclear. Aftermath means the you can say bad results. The aftermaths means the consequences, the results are unclear. What actually happened to Egypt, what happened to the other, you can say, families, or what happened to the royal family. So these are all things are unclear. Next paragraph, page number 25, last paragraph. Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for almost 4 decades at the height of 18th dynasty's golden age. Now, he has gone back to, you can say, the history of Egyptian kings and Egypt. Amenhotep III, maybe he was King Tut's father or grandfather. He was a powerful pharaoh. Pharaoh means a king, Egyptian king, who ruled for almost 4 decades, for 4 decades, for 40 years. 4 decades means 40 years at the height of the 18th dynasty's golden age. Means he ruled Egypt for more than 40 years. His son Amenhotep IV, then another, you can say, ruler came, and he was Amenhotep IV, Amenhotep III's son. He succeeded him. He came to the throne and initiated one of the strangest periods in the history. Why he has called this one of the strangest periods? We are going to read it in the next page, because this is actually going to be the strangest period. This was very strange for the people of Egypt and for other people also. Why? The new pharaoh promoted the worship of Aten. This new pharaoh Amenhotep IV, what he had done, he promoted, he asked people that they should worship a new god, that was Aten. They were asked to worship Aten, and Aten was, you can say, the sun disk, the sun god, जो हमारे सूर्य देवता हैं, that is called, that was called by these people as Aten. So he said, the new pharaoh means Amenhotep IV, he asked people, he suppressed people, he forced people to you can say worship a new god, that was Aten, or maybe the sun disk or the sun god, and changed his name to Akhenaten. And not only that was done by him, he actually changed his name from Amenhotep IV to Akhenaten, or servant of Aten. Why he added Aten in the end of his name? Because he wanted to show his, you can say, belief in this new god, in this sun disk god, in Aten. And moved the religious capital from the old city of Thebes to the new city of Aten. And then what he had done, he changed his religious capital also. He you can say transferred his capital, he changed his capital from Thebes to new city of Akhenaten, that is known today as Amarna. Means not only he had changed his own name from Amenhotep IV to Akhenaten, but he also changed the capital of Egypt from the city of Thebes to Akhenaten. That is today, in today's world, it is called as Amarna. He further shocked the country by attacking Amun, and not only he stopped after doing all these things, he actually gone forward and he started attacking, he started smashing the major gods' temples and his images, and he attacked the temples which belonged to this, you can say, major god Amun. Amun was their major god. Amun was the god which was being worshipped by the Egyptian people before that. But this man Amenhotep IV, or this man Akhenaten, who had changed his name to Akhenaten, he asked the people to start worshipping the different god, that was Aten, that was the sun disk, and he also started smashing the images, the idols of the major god, that was Amun. shocked the country by attacking Amun, a major god, smashing his images. Means he smashed, he started breaking the images, and he also closed the temples. He attacked the temples also, and the temples belonged to major god Amun. They were closed. It must have been a horrific time, said Ray Johnson. Ray Johnson was the director of University of Chicago's research center in Luxor, and he once said that it must have been a horrific time. Means it was really a very, you can say, different, awful, or maybe very difficult time, very dangerous time for the people of, you can say, for the people and for the country of Egypt, the site of ancient Thebes. And he also said the family that had ruled for centuries was coming to an end, and then Akhenaten went a little wacky. Means the family, the dynasty was going to end, and in between there came a very strange man on the throne. His name was Akhenaten, and he became little wacky. This word is very important, wacky. Please underline this word in your notebooks and write down. Wacky here means crazy, funny, or maybe eccentric, odd. So he became really crazy and mad. Because, and why he was called wacky? Because he had closed the temples, because he smashed the images, and he asked the people, or forced the people, to start worshipping the god you can Aten, okay, in place of Amun. Next paragraph. After Akhenaten's death, now Akhenaten died, a mysterious ruler named Samenkhare appeared. Then Samenkhare came on the throne, but he came and then he disappeared. Means for some days only he actually ruled Egypt and exited with hardly a trace. And then a very young Tutankhamun took the throne. Now this is very important. We are reading this chapter about this man, about this boy who was only a teenager, and at such a young age he became the ruler of Egypt. His name was Tutankhaten. And again you can notice that Aten, Aten, is actually added in the end of the name. Tutankhaten took the throne. King Tut was, as he is widely known today, the boy king soon changed his name to Tutankhamun. But this boy did not want to ask people to worship Aten, because he also wanted that the people should be given liberty and freedom to worship the same god, whichever god they wanted to worship. And that is why, to show his belief in the major god, he again added in the end of his name, Amun was added by him. And Tutankhamun here means living image of Amun. So again he changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun to show his belief in the major god, and oversaw a restoration. Restoration means he again wanted to restore, he wanted to revive the old ways. He reigned means he ruled for about 9 years and then died unexpectedly. Means for 9 years he ruled Egypt, but after that something happened and he died unexpectedly, because he was only a teenager at that time. Regardless of his fame and the speculations about his fate, Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. But maybe there were so many speculations. Please underline this word. Speculation means so much guesswork was going on. So many speculations were being done about his fate, about his life and death. Tut is one mummy among many in Egypt. But his mummy is not the only mummy who has been discovered. How many? No one knows. Means so many mummies are buried inside these tombs. No one knows how many mummies are there. The Egyptian Mummy Project, which began an inventory. Please underline this word again, inventory. Inventory means they began a list. They have made a list into late 2003, and it has recorded almost 600 so far. Means till now, this project, Egyptian Mummy Project, they have got more than 600 mummies from these tombs, and is still counting. Means the count is still increasing. They are getting more bodies, they are getting more mummies of these kings. The next phase scanning the mummies with a portable CT scan donated by National Geographic Science and Siemens, its manufacturer. Now, what they had to do, they were actually trying to get all the bodies out of their tombs, and they have started a project that is called as Egyptian Mummy Project. And under this project, they are trying to take the CT scans. Portable CT scanner machine has been donated by National Geographic Society, and now this mummy project, this Egyptian mummy project, they have started taking CT scans. King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned, in death as in life, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. Now, this line is very, very important to understand. What is written here? King Tut is one of the first mummies to be scanned. Means maybe they have got more than 600 mummies out of their coffins or out of their tombs, but this man's mummy, this boyish Pharaoh's mummy, means King Tut's mummy, is going to be or was going to be the first mummy ever scanned. Not only in death, means not only after death he is important, because his CT scan is going to be taken for the first time, and nobody else was, you can say, gone through. No mummy had gone through a CT scan, moving regally ahead of his countrymen. But he was always ahead. He was always the first one, because he was always in limelight, because he was one of the most important, you can say, personalities in Egyptian history. A CT machine scanned the mummy head to toe. Now, in 2005, they wanted to put the mummy inside the CT scan machine, and from head to toe his body was going inside, creating 1700 digital X-ray images in cross section. And they are actually, you can say, successful in taking more than 1700 X-ray images on the computer screen. Tut's head scanned in 0.62 millimeter slices to register its intricate structures. And so Tut's images, Tut's head's images, or different body parts, they were actually very much, you can say, going to get cleared on the computer screen, and small slices of images are going to be, you can say, made or developed on the computer screen. And it takes on eerie detail. Now, this is very important. What is the meaning of eerie? Eerie means strange and frightening. Dara dene wali images, they were coming on the screen, on the computer screen. Eerie detail is going to come. Eerie means frightening. Then he says, with Tut's entire body similarly recorded, a team of specialists in radiology, forensics, anatomy began to probe. What is the meaning of probe? Probe means to investigate, to check. They began to investigate the secrets that the winged goddesses of a gilded burial shrine protected for so long. Now, these people, the team of radiologists, forensics, and anatomy professors, and all these people, these scientists, they are actually trying to check, they are trying to probe the secrets, because there were so many secrets related to the death and life of this boyish pharaoh, and that is why they have started an investigation, and they have taken his CT scan, and more than 1700 pictures were taken from different angles. The night of the scan, workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. Now, the night of the scan means the scanning was done, CT scan was taken, and it was the night. The workmen carried Tut from the tomb in his box. Means they were carrying Tut from the tomb in his box. Like pallbearers, they climbed a ramp. Now, when they were actually taking the body, what is the meaning of like pallbearers? Pallbearers are actually people who would be going at a funeral. फ्यूनरल मीन्स अंतिम संस्कार के लिए जब अर्थी को उठा करके ले जाते हैं फॉर द क्रीमेशन, दीज पीपल आर जनरली कॉल्ड एज पॉल बियरर्स. So like pall bearers, they climbed a ramp. Ramp means a slopey, you can say, path. And these people, they were going. And a flight of stairs into the swirling sand outside. Swirling sand means it was windy outside. And that is why the wind was taking with it a lot of sand in the air. मिट्टी या धूल उड़ रही है बहुत ज़्यादा. Then rose on a hydraulic lift into the trailer that held the scanner. And then these people, they actually went to the hydraulic lift into the trailer. Trailer means the back part of a truck or maybe a vehicle which would be drawn by another vehicle. So they actually took the body to the trailer, and in that trailer they had the CT scanner machine. 20 minutes later, two men emerged, sprinted for an office nearby, and two guards, they were running from one place to another. Why? And returned with a pair of white plastic fans, and they had two plastic fans in their hands. The $1 million scanner had quit because of sand in a cooler fan. Now, why they were running hard, why they were nervous? Because the CT scan machine, it was not working, it stopped working. Why? Because the fan that was you can say installed inside the $1 million scanner machine, it quit means it stopped working, because there was a lot of sand, because it was windy. So much sand was, you can say, gone inside the cooler fan, and the fan stopped working. And that is why these two people, they sprinted from one place to another, and they got two white colored plastic fans with them. Curse of the Pharaoh, joked a guard nervously. Now, a guard actually, you can say, joked, and he said that maybe it is going to be the curse of the Pharaoh. Maybe they are going to be punished by the king, by King Tut, because he is going to get disturbed, because they were disturbing him. That is why he is going to curse them. Curse means they are going to be punished. Eventually, this is page number 27. Eventually, the substitute fans worked well enough to finish the procedure, and at last they were successful in putting those you can say white colored plastic fans in at place, and they started working also, and the procedure was done. The process was over. After checking that no data has been lost, the technicians turned Tut over to the workman. Now, his body was again given back to the workmen. जो मजदूर थे उठाने वाले, they had taken the body again with them, because it has to be laid down inside the tomb again. Who carried him back to the tomb? Less than 3 hours after he was removed from his coffin, the Pharaoh again ceased in peace. What is the meaning of coffin? And we have done this work before also. Word that coffin here means tabut, a kind of wooden box in which the body would be placed. And now after 3 hours, these people, they removed, you can say, they took the body again in peace, where the funerary priests had laid him so long ago. Means his body was being taken to the same place again, where he was, you can say, being laid for last more than 3300 years. 3300 सालों से वो वहीं पर पड़ी है, and they are going to put the body again into the coffin, into that tomb again. Back in the trailer, a technician pulled up astonishing images, and now these technicians, they started looking, they started watching all the pictures which were taken by the CT scan machine, and there were astonishing images, means there were surprising images which were taken of Tut on a computer screen. A grey head took shape from a scattering pixels. This is very important, that what kind of pictures were taken by the CT scan machine. A grey head was to be seen, means a very finely shaped grey head was seen on the computer screen. Technicians spun and tilted it in every direction, means they looked at the head, at the skull of this boyish pharaoh from different angles. Neck vertebrae appeared. Then his neck vertebrae appeared as clearly as in anatomy class. Other images revealed a hand, and then there were images of her, of his hand. Several views of his rib cage was very much clear. His hand was to be seen, and his skull, means all his body parts, his hands, his rib cage or his skull, they were very much clear. They had taken very good images through this CT scan machine. But for now, the pressure was off. Sitting back in his chair, pressure was off means these people, they actually got relieved because they had done a very good job and the CT scan was done successfully, and now the pressure was off from them. And sitting back in his chair, Zahi Hawass, we have read this man's name in the last page also. Zahi Hawass was the Secretary General of the Department of Antiquity in Egypt. And this Zahi Hawass, and he smiled because he was the chief, he was the boss. He visibly relieved that nothing had gone seriously wrong. And then he actually found that nothing wrong was done by Howard Carter in 1922, because the CT scan machine had given all the pictures which were very much clear, and no damage was done to the body or to the mummy. And he said, Zahi Hawass said, I did not sleep that night, for not for a second. And he also said, I was so worried, but now I think I'll go and sleep. Now he was relieved and he wanted to get, you can say, off from the pressure, and he wanted to go and take some rest, because he was feeling relieved now, because the CT scan was done and it was done successfully. Last page, page number 28, last paragraph. By the time we left the trailer, descending metal stairs to the sandy ground, means these people, these workmen, जो मजदूर हैं, they were carrying the body from trailer, from that truck to the tomb, and they were descending. Descending here means they were going down. उतरा ही उतर रहे हैं, they are going downstairs, metal stairs to the sandy ground. The wind had stopped. Now they noticed that wind stopped, because wind was not moving. But when they were taking him out from the coffin, from the tomb, there was a lot of, you can say, wind to be seen. The winter air lay cold and still. It was winter season and there was very cold air, but now it became still, like death itself. In this valley of the departed, valley of departed means the valley of the dead, just above the entrance to Tut's tomb stood Orion, the constellation that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, watching over the boy king. What is the meaning? He says just above the entrance. But when these people, they were going to you can say get entered from the Tut's tomb, they actually saw upwards, and on the main gate, on the main, you can say, door, there was you can say a picture, there was an image of somebody, and it was nobody else but Orion. And Orion generally is the constellation means a group that the ancient Egyptians knew as the soul of Osiris, the god of afterlife. Their god of afterlife means, like we have our god of afterlife as, you can say, जिसको हम क्या बोलते हैं, somebody who would be coming to take the souls with them. And in the same way, they also had got somebody, and this god was the god of afterlife, and his picture, his images were to be seen on the door above, the god of afterlife watching over the boy king. And it seemed as if this Osiris, this god of afterlife, was watching that the boy king was being taken over inside the tomb again. So this is the end of the chapter. We will continue tomorrow, and maybe some questions would be given to you in the next class. Thank you very much.